I shit you not, this series is in my top 3 favorite of this season. Straight out. Honestly, I'm half tempted to put this as my favorite series of this anime season. I'm not fucking joking. I'm not fucking joking right now. I am not. At all. I called that ending so fucking long ago. I called it. I fucking called it. Oh my god. What can we call this person now? Aki Lovely? Isn't Aki Lovely no more. She's Aki Murderer. It actually went that route. I give massive fucking props right now. Massive props to the studio that is doing this series. And the writer. This is an anime original. We all know this by now. The writer, man. Make more fucking anime. Write more anime. We need writers like this. We need fucking writers like this that actually have us engage into a series like this that is very thought-provoking. This shit, amazing. Absolutely fucking amazing. I want to say right now, 10 out of fucking 10. Before you even go to the end of this video, this review, and see whatever I rate this episode, you don't have to worry. 10 out of fucking 10 right off the bat. The theories, the thought-provoking stuff I could think about, and the ending alone. The ending alone. Damn. Selector spread WIXOSS, man. Did anyone really think this series would have stepped to this level? I remember when I first watched this. Episode 1. I remember when I first watched Selector infected WIXOSS. I knew it was dark. I've said this a lot. But did you think it would go to this level? Where we actually see Ulif get fucking stabbed in, like, fucking stomach. I'm like, whoa, what? Just the way this series is done is beautiful. Oh my god. Honestly, I am going to probably put this in my top 5 favorite series from this anime year. In total, from this year of anime I have watched, this is definitely in my top 5 favorites. It doesn't go down in quality. It keeps getting fucking better by the episode. It is literally rising in quality as it goes. And the thing is, you'd think it would, like, bottom out, like it'd pretty much just, go on a standard quality top line once it gets to a certain threshold, but no, it continues to fucking bust through layers and roofs of quality, and I'm like, damn, just, I really wish more people would watch this series. I really do. I really wish more people would give this series a chance. They're quick to fucking judge it because it's a card game. I'm glad I didn't judge this series because of the damn card game. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I looked at the big picture and sensed that dark vibe from it. I'm glad I did, because this series is greatness. I'm giving the greatness ranking to this series. Fucking greatness. Another thing, too. Did you see the animation that they used at the end of this episode? Like, that animation... When you saw Aki, Murderer, or I'm just gonna call her fucking Murderer, just stab Ulif, like the music, animation, the tension in that scene, marvelous. Phenomenal and marvelous. That build up. When I see them get out of the game, when I see Ruko and Ulif get out of the game and everybody gets out, and then you just see Aki Lovely just sitting there on the floor just going fucking insane and all that, and then you see the slow pan over with the camera to the fucking, like, pencil or pen, and she grabs it, I'm like, yo! She is going to do it! I was like, she is going to do it! And it took, like, another minute and a half, probably, before she did it. I'm like, the tension. I felt like my back was snapping in half from that tension. I want to be honest. My back was in two with that tension, because I felt it. When I was just sitting there in the seat, I was like this. I was, like, nibbling my fingers. I was like, it's going to happen. It's going to fucking happen. I was like, oh my god, it's going to fucking happen. And it would have been even worse if she would have stabbed Ulif right there, like stabbed her in front of everybody. That would have been very fucked up. But what makes it worse is Ulif was stabbed with nobody around. Like, nobody was around when Aki Lovely or Aki Murderer stabbed Ulif. So, even though it shows at the end of this episode that Ulif is technically still alive, you see her still alive and all that, she has, like, the pin fucking stuck in her stomach, she's still technically not dead. So, we can't really count her out like she is dead, but we all saw this coming. When you fuck with the wrong person, especially when you break a certain person and you make them go insane, you're taking the risk of them killing you when you break them to a certain point. When someone can be broken to the point of suicide, doesn't always mean that they will kill themselves, or doesn't mean they will go out by themselves. Different people, different brains, different psychological situations with the different people. And Aki Lovely was one of those different type of characters that you broke to a certain fucking point that she went insane and tried to kill you. She's a very jealous and envious type of person, and that's exactly what she did. The music in that scene when she walks off, when you see Ulif get stabbed, clapping fucking twice. That's how great this is. Fucking clapping, no, 3 times, 4 times, I don't care, I'm just clapping. This series, man. I'm actually fucking shaking. I am fucking shaking. This is rare. This is fucking rare, because that's how good this is. I did jump out of my seat when I watched this. I wish I would have done a live reaction to this. I really, really wish I would have done a live reaction to this episode. I actually jumped out of my fucking seat when I saw Aki Murderer stab Ulif. I was like, sure! I jumped. I literally jumped out of my fucking seat backwards. I was like, oh my god. I couldn't believe what happened. Like, I could, because I called it, but when I saw that scene, I was like, damn! Oh my god, man. This series. Gotta get some coffee, fuck. Need some coffee, because this series is too fucking good. WIXOSS is like one of the only few series that actually make me have to drink coffee to get my thinking cap on. So I want to mention something real quick before I continue theory crafting and talking about this episode. I want to bring this up because a bunch of Chibits last week pointed it out. I'm glad a lot of you pointed it out. I mean, I do make mistakes and I am human and I'm prone to making mistakes, but I just want to defend my case of why I made that mistake. Last week, I said that Futase was like Iona and Tama. I said that. And Mayu, we know that is the mother, and technically Iona and Tama are Mayu. We found out completely in this episode right at the beginning in under 30 seconds flat. And it completely just smacked and bitch slapped me in the face. It really did. And I bet everybody that, called me out on that last week are probably laughing their ass off like, oh, Chibi's got to explain this. But, I'm willing to admit my mistake. I made a mistake. I mean, I'm human. Here, I want to show you actual pictures on the screen for how I made that mistake, though. I mean, I can't change it, I already made that mistake, but I'm willing to acknowledge that I am wrong. I'm willing to acknowledge that, but I'm showing you why I made that mistake. Look at these different pictures here, and see what the wording is, one after another. Wouldn't you kind of get the mistake of maybe Futase was Iona and Tama? That's where I got it. And so, yeah, I'm sorry about that, bad information I got last week. I just want to say right now, I'm very sorry about that. And so anyways, let's move on to the other topics now that we got past that. Okay. Tama. I called that shit too. I called that shit. I called that shit. I called that shit. I called that fucking shit. I called that fucking shit. Tama goes into a dark being. Like, she levels up to level 5. Now, I don't know the exact rules and circumstances around the card game. I know the different levels, and level 5 is fucking crazy. I've seen a bunch of Chibits talk about it. And I don't know the full specifics of why that is just so amazing. I really don't. I would be lying to you if I said I knew. So, I don't understand the specifics, but it was just a very interesting thing what happened to Tama. When she had, like, darkness seep into her, and you just see her, like, transform into level 5 Dark Tama. I'm like, what? What? Oh, dude. That was just fucking hype. And when you see her grab Iona just doing this, fucking punch her, oh my god, dude, that's fucking brutal. You even had the character say it was brutal. You know that shit is brutal, and you even have the characters say it's fucking brutal. Like, that was the first time we've seen a fight that fucking brutal. Like, oh my god, this episode, I'm really half tempted to say this is probably by far one of my favorite episodes of the season 2. I mean, last episode was on a different level with the fucking Iona or Ulif reveal, for instance, with her torturing girls and trying to break them. That was on a different level too, but this just like, damn. Just, it never ceases to impress me. The series always impresses me by the episode. Like, it does. And it's shocking. It's just, I can't wrap my head around how amazing this series is and how underrated it is. It is so underrated. It is very, very underrated and not popular. It really should be popular. I'm saying it right now. This series manages to tell a fucking story without using pointless fan service, cliches in general. I mean, it has cliches. Every series has cliches. But it doesn't use so much that it's unoriginal. I mean, the series is just really good. Like, the writing of it is really fucking good. Just seeing the progression with the characters and the psychological twist going on in each character's minds, with Iona to Ulif to Ruko to Yuzuki, different characters, the way their minds break down or reconstruct, just seeing that stuff, that is why I love this series. And it sucks we don't get quality like this anymore. It really, really sucks, because we don't get anime like this anymore that is at this level. And it sucks because people are quick to judge the series because of the card game. Because it's a card game, people instantly look at this series and say, oh, it's another Yu-Gi-Oh series, let's just skip over it. I'm not putting down Yu-Gi-Oh, don't get me wrong. I actually like Yu-Gi-Oh, I do. I remember watching the first entire season. I stopped at GX because I just didn't want to watch no more. But don't get me wrong, I don't hate Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm just saying people are quick to judge because it's a card game and they'll think it's like a Yu-Gi-Oh ripoff or something. And then there was some judging that this was a Madoka Magica type ripoff in the first season. I remember that. It's kind of died down since then. But the way the writing is done in this series, like, I can't predict the ending. I really cannot predict the fucking ending. The main goal, as I could see from this, like Mayu's in-game goal that was introduced, like we finally find out, is that she wants friends. She's alone. We know this. She's been alone for a long time. And, like, her world turned to no color because she kept doing this game and all that. Like, she just is alone. And she made these imaginary friends, pretty much, like Tama and Iona. And they both are like her hope and darkness, pretty much, or light and dark. And they're both her. Her emotions, pretty much, are in Tama and Iona. And Tama states in this episode, like, since technically Tama and Iona could actually become friends with Ruko, it might be possible that Mayu could also become friends. But judging by Mayu's mental state at the end of this episode, like when we see her mental state when she's breaking down, that reminds me exactly how Aki Lovely or Aki Murderer is doing in these past couple episodes, or this entire series. So I highly doubt Mayu is going to actually become good so easy. I will really be satisfied with this series if it takes a different path. Like, if it takes a path that's uncliche, like what if it doesn't actually make Mayu become good and actually become friends with Ruko then? I mean, what if, like, Tama and Iona dies and stuff with Mayu? Because, I mean, you gotta go figure. With this, we find out that technically you have it to where Mayu can't kill Iona or Tama because they are technically a part of her. And the thing is that I'm guessing if Mayu was to die, they would also die too, unless they're in a body. But it's not just that, too, though. I mean, I would be very happy if something like that happened. Don't get me wrong, I love Tama and I love Iona, I love their characters. I really, really do. I don't hate them at all. But I would love this series to do an uncliche ending, like a tragic ending or something very different that just bitch slaps me so hard in the face and makes me declare that this is probably my favorite anime of the season. Because if that happens, I'd be just, like, freaking out. Like, I'd be fucking freaking out. The animation, too, of this series, man, highly underrated. The animation is really nice. Oh, my God. Like, the animation of the color effects, the way they go through the color palettes with the black and white and stuff, oh, my God, that looks great. It looks really great. But speaking of the animation I want to mention, I want to actually show you something I noticed in the episode, and it made me laugh my fucking ass off. Now, Just because I'm about to show you this picture doesn't mean the episode was bad. As you can see, I'm really hyped about this episode and I love it a lot. But nothing is perfect and everything has its flaws, and especially Selector. Selector will have its flaws too. Look at this picture and tell me what you think is fucking wrong. Tell me in the comments below and tell me what you think is actually wrong, okay? I'm just curious. Because that picture, I laughed my ass off. I laughed my ass off when I saw that. I'm like, I saw it, I thought I actually was confusing stuff, and I went back, paused it, and I took a picture, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, that happened. Now, one thing too. With this episode, we see a flashback to the first episode. Remember how I was, theorizing about Tama? And being dark, technically? Or dark Tama? Well, it seems like I'm right. Ruko remembers her dream from the first episode, and when she sees Tama in her black, dark form, pretty much, she thinks about that dream she had where Tama looked very demonic. So, thank God the writers haven't forgotten what they did with Ruko. For instance, something's very mysterious about her past. Hopefully we will find out more about that. I really want to know what happened to Ruko in the past with her mother, her family, and stuff like that. Why is she really living with her grandma? And is the grandma one of the main masterminds of the entire ordeal of this game? I mean, we know Mayu made the game. We know for a fact Mayu made the game. She put the rules. She made the rules with Tama and Iona. We know what she did. For instance, the more she made these imaginary friends and more she just, played the game, more of it became reality and eventually turned into what it was to now. And, I mean, still, I'm questioning the overall importance the grandma is to the series. Like, I mean, was she just there? Or is she also another key factor in the series? Because if the grandma proves to be also useful in this series, I will fucking freak out, dude. Because all of us have had, theories about the grandma since the first episode. I remember the first episode I made a theory about that grandma. And if it doesn't prove to be true, I guess it happens. But, I mean, if it does, on the other hand, I will, oh my god, man, I'd flip. I'd fucking flip. But we'll have to see. I mean, is my theories true about maybe the game spreading into the real world? I mean, it's possible. I mean, you have it to where Mayu wants to not be alone. She doesn't want to be alone. She's still wishing. She can't have her wish. Like, she can't wish, but she's still wishing. And that's technically why the game is there. And maybe when her wish gets fulfilled, maybe the entire world will be engulfed in this room of Mayu's. And they'll be forever locked in this battle. So, yeah. That's pretty much this week's episode of Selector Spread WIXOSS. Not disappointed. I am not disappointed. This series, 10 out of 10. 10 out of fucking 10. I mean, it's not perfect, okay, of course. Nothing's perfect, but 10 out of fucking 10. My hype levels, my enjoyment levels, the thought-provoking things in this series, the theories, the characters, the psychologicalness, the fucking stabbing of Aki Murderer. Everything. Amazing. Seriously. I couldn't commend this series anymore. Phenomenal. So, yeah. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think this is one of the better episodes of Selector Spread Across? Do you think this is the best episode? Do you think this is the worst episode? If you think it's the worst episode, everybody has an opinion. You can say what you want, but personally, I don't see how anyone really could hate this episode if you're a major Selector Spread Across fan. I don't really see how someone can hate this, but I mean, everybody has their own opinions and different tastes of series. But anyways, tell me your thoughts. Well, let me know in the comments below how you felt. Sorry about a mistake I did last week. You all have a wonderful day or night, wherever you live. Please be safe, and Chibi out.